We are back. Grand evening to everybody. Grand evening to everybody. Thank you for joining me this evening. Yes, this is In My Element with who? Y'all already know who it is. But good evening, everybody. And welcome to another live edition of In My Element with Neela. Tonight, we are shining a spotlight on the Chicago Treasure, a restaurant that has been nourishing the community's mind and body and spirit for decades. I'm talking about the legendary Soul Veg City, located right here on 75th Street on the south side. This restaurant is more than just a good food, it's culture, it's also health, it's legacy, and it's love. And when I say it's legacy, it's legacy. Okay? I'm talking about real legacy. I was a small girl when that restaurant was here, so I know that's like a truly legacy. And it's love also. It's a bunch of love in the restaurant. You just go there and you meet a lot of people, and it's really just a wholesome atmosphere. And tonight we have the honor of speaking with the owner, who continues the mission of bringing delicious plant-based, soul-inspired meals to our community. So please help me welcome the owner of Soul Veg, Arel.
Yeah. Yes, yes,
Grand
yes, yes,
evening
yes.
to you, Arel. Grand evening to you. How are you?
Brother, be well. How are you, Sister Neela?
I can't complain. I can't complain. It is good to see you and good to have you on board tonight. Definitely.
The pleasure is mine, and it's an honor to be invited to the show.
I am so grateful to have you. You know, Errol, you guys have been around for quite a long time. I mean, quite a long time. And
Yeah.
I want to go into, and I know you're a busy man because you also got an event tonight, and I already know that.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
like,
I actually left out the event. The event started at 6. I actually left out. I got to the event a little late, but I came out. That's why I'm in a car now. And then once I get done, I'm going to jump back into the event because it gets over about 8:30. So yes.
okay, okay, cool. I ain't gonna keep you long, but
No,
we
we making it all happen though, but it's fine.
we show up. We gonna make it happen. That's just
Yeah.
what we're doing, and it's a wonderful thing. That, hey, you know what? Ain't nothing but God.
Oh, all the time.
We always make it. God makes it happen through us all
Yeah.
the time. So, what inspired the creation of Soul Veg City? As a matter of fact, before you tell us that, give us a little insight as to who you are. Introduce yourself and tell us your name, where you're from. I ain't
All
gonna
that good stuff.
tell.
So because it's all good. It ain't no bad. Yeah. So my name is Arel in Israel. So I'm actually born and raised in Israel. So my dad, which is Prince Asiel, and my mom, which is Havanah, they both left the United States. My dad from Chicago, my mom from Detroit. So my
Wow.
dad joined a community called the African Hebrew Israelite Community. And he joined about 55 years ago. So in 1970. So that's probably where we at. We're about 56, almost like I said, 55 years ago. So almost 56 years ago, he
Yep.
joined a community called the African Hebrew Israelite Community. And it was the spiritual leader, his name was Ben and me. And he had a vision that us as a people should go back to our original land, which with the Bible and all the stories in the Bible come from and originate from, which is Northeast Africa, which is Israel. Those that others would call it the Middle East, but it's fine. We call it Israel because we know why they named it the Middle East. Once they built the Suez Canal and they cut that up, and then that's what they labeled that area the Middle East. But
Wow.
yeah, without getting into that history, so I'm born and raised in Israel. I came to the U.S. In 2001 for the first time. And to tell the truth, that day, it was in January, and my mom picked me up from the airport. And on my way going to the restaurant, I said, you know what, I'm not going to be here alone because I had only seen snow twice in my life at that time. And in early 2000, Chicago with all the winter was totally different than the Chicago winter today. It was a
Hey, just think. I was in the winters in the 70s and the 80s.
oh my
I,
God, oh
I
my
walked to
God.
school in the
Yeah,
blizzards.
so, so,
Okay,
so
these
you
kids
ain't
nowadays,
live you ain't lived the transition. I know you happy for these
listen,
days.
these kids couldn't dare walk in my shoes, baby.
I,
They'd
I
have been
know
there.
it. I know it. I know it. As the saying is, only the strong survive.
Right.
Only the strong survive. So,
So,
so
Arel,
that, yeah.
ask you, what inspired the creation of Soul Veg City? I know
Okay.
it was here. It's been around for 50 years, right?
No,
55.
it's been not that long, I have to be honest, but it has been around since I was born. So it's been
Okay.
around for 43 years. We're celebrating 44 years this upcoming year.
Awesome.
So the end
Awesome.
of this year, we'll be celebrating 44 years. But to your question, what inspired the vision or the reality of Soul Veg City? So it started off as Soul Vegetarian. And my
Mhm.
dad he said, based on his story and what he told me, because my dad's the founder, he said he was reading an Ebony magazine back in the early 80s. This is 1980, 1981. And he
Mhm.
said, with him reading that Ebony magazine, he said he came past an article that talked about and mentioned that us as black people were affected by all of the diseases, whether it was high blood pressure, whether it was cholesterol, whether it was strokes, whether it's diabetes,
Mhm.
and the list we know could go on and on and on. He said when he read that, he said something spoke to him. And he said what spoke to him said that you yourself, talking about Prince, my dad, you
Mhm.
yourself have experienced a change in your lifestyle based on your diet because he originally was eating the American diet, but as a Hebrew in the transition, it caused him to change his diet from the
Mhm.
traditional way of eating to being what the world now labeled as plant based.
Wow.
So he said when he read that, it said he got inspired, but he said that wasn't enough. He said because the small voice in his head said to him, "You not a chef, you not a restaurateur, you don't make food. How you gonna open a restaurant?" And he said the other loud voice in his head said, as he remembered as a child, "Is there anything too great for me?" God said. And he said once that played in his head, he started to work. That was in about 1980, late, early 1981. And he
Wow.
said he started on his journey to exploring that, meaning the thought of doing something like that. Meaning because all of those things that was listed, jumping back to the question, all of those things that was listed that we suffered from was diet related illnesses. You see, so it wasn't any genetically passed down things. So it was everything that we could change if we just changed what we put in our body. And that was the inspiration.
Wow. Wow. That is, but that's more than enough inspiration
Yeah,
because like you said, the disease and the ailments, the disease and the ailments that we were contracting, it was
yeah,
not something that we were used to.
no,
As our diets had changed from our natural way of living, our
yeah,
tribal way of living. Let me put it that way. I feel it's
yeah,
always been a tribal way of living. To
absolutely.
Americanized, you know, they say anything you're eating in your diet, if it's white, get rid of it.
Yeah,
Like white sugar, white flour,
there you
white,
go.
all of that. Like
Yeah,
because all things that are white are processed.
that's right. Most things are white are not right.
Hmm. And some people too. No, just kidding. Some people too. No, but just kidding. No, but no. Honestly, that was a joke that one of the comedians had set up and talked about once before too. But going back to you, it's amazing how something like that transpired in your dad's life to make him go in that direction. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? That's that's a deep direction to go into. Something
yes.
if I wish he was here so I could ask him what how deep was deep in your heart in your gut that made him do that. But
So I could answer a piece of that because he would
okay,
answer it better than me. But a piece of the response that I would give to that is the care he had for his people and the love he had for his people is what caused him to do that and create the brand of Soul Veg that he created 40 plus years ago. He said because a little bit about him and then we can keep going. But he was the ambassador for the African Hebrew Israelite community. So that caused him to have to talk to all kind of people and he needed to have a place where he can invite people to as well. So it served multiple purposes. So yes, that's it served
uh-oh,
food, but as you opened
uh-oh.
up saying it's
I
more than
know
a
what's going
restaurant.
Oh, I know what's going on. I know what's going on. Okay, yeah, it was breaking up. Okay.
Get
Can
it?
you hear
So
me?
yes, I can hear you good.
Okay, good.
So, but what I was saying
Okay.
was that he said that, as you said earlier, that it's more than just a restaurant. And that's what he
Hmm.
knew when he was creating. He said, yes, we're going to wheel people in and bring people in with food because, that's the easiest way of communicating to all kinds of walks of life. But then after that, and with doing that, we could share some of these other things and have other discussions.
Right. Wow. So moving around with that, plant-based soul food is basically what your restaurant deals with. Is a plant-based soul food. So like soul food is also known for like comfort and richness. It brings people together. Everybody talk around a table. How did your team approach creating plant-based dishes that still carry that soul and that flavor and that tradition? Because
You see,
it's a tradition.
one of the things we realize as we've been developing and expanding, as well as just creating new things, is that it's all flavor, meaning it's seasonings. You see, most of us that eat the traditional American diet, you're not about to be walking on the side of the street and see a chicken and grab them and bite them. You're not going to do that. You're not
Right.
going to see the pig in the barn, pull him out, chop his head off, and go to eating them. We just not those kinds of people. We don't have to do that at this phase and stage of life.
Hmm.
So I say that because we eat it now. Why? Because of the seasonings that's been added to it, as well as they have told us it's food, but we ain't gonna go into that. That's the deep part. But the seasonings to answer your question. So once we understood the seasoning of food as well as texture of food, we said, why don't we then create the healthy part of eating for people with the same taste, the same texture that they already desire and that they're
Hmm.
already accustomed to. So with my
Right.
mom and other people in the team on the team from back in the day, 40 plus years ago, they went in the lab and they just got seriously creative. But as well as because it was and we was as African Americans building and starting a restaurant, we like to eat tasty food.
Hmm.
And tasty food aligns with what? Soul food.
Right.
So we so so we had to go down the lane of creating food that people would eat. It's one thing to tell somebody they need to eat something healthy, That's fine. We all know that because we heard that as kids. Eat your vegetables you need it because of what they do for you.
Exactly.
But it's another thing for you to have to create something for people to be able to enjoy eating what's necessary. And we knew that, and that's why we knew we had to go down the lane of creating something that was called soul food, because then it would be an easy connection for people to be able to relate to, especially being that we was on the south side.
Yes, yes, and definitely with that. And and that's also, I can see your dad had thought that this was going to be much bigger than just a restaurant. It brings about community and all of that. Like I had said earlier when I opened, like, you go there and you'll meet people, you'll just start a conversation, and it's all because basically it's like minds, because
Yes,
people are there for a
yes,
transition from the norm of what they're used to eating: pork, beef, chicken,
yeah.
all this meat, and it's plant-based. And and y'all, they got some really good smothered cabbage. I'm just saying the cabbage is really, and the mac and cheese is really good. And y'all like mac and cheese. I thought vegan is mac and cheese. No, it ain't real cheese, but it's a cheese taste to it. It's basically a nutritional yeast. And that really brings about a good cheese taste as well. But it's really good. They have really good They have really, really good dishes there. Now, going into um the community connection. Soul Veg City has been a staple in the community for years. What role do you feel the restaurant itself plays in the neighborhood beyond just serving food?
So we've been in the neighborhood. We one of the first. Let me go back. So 75th Street, if that's where we are. Our address is 203 East 75th Street in Chicago. Zip code is 60619. Just for those that want to check us out and look us up. And
Thank
as we started off saying, the name is Soul Veg City, and we own all the social medias and all the networks. You can Google us as well, and then Instagram and Facebook and so forth and so on. I say that because it leads me to 75th Street is a historical street for black people and black people with businesses.
you.
We
Mm-hmm.
have businesses on that street that's been there for 70 plus years. I have to give them a shout out, even though they sell a different cuisine than we do, but a business like Liam's. Liam's been there on 75th Street for 70 plus years,
Yes.
as much as the 50-yard line has been there for 50 plus years. So you got some long lasting businesses that's been there. So for us to get enjoying that community of lasting and impactful businesses, we just felt that it was necessary for us to come into that community that we would be a good fit. But to the question you asked
Uh-huh.
about community, you see, I tell the team members, which most people would think they called employees, I tell them that look, we just serve food, but that's not who we are. That's just something we do.
Yeah.
I said who we are is we inspiration,
Yes.
we courage, we vision, we legacy, we desire to do better. We inspiration. We inspire those to know that it's possible. That's who we are. What we do is just serve food. So to your question of community, it was so important for us to stay in the community over all of these years, because people would say, and people have said to me, Ariel, with you all level of success, even after 25 years, you could have went anywhere because you're 25 years old, meaning you
Mm-hmm.
have created a brand for yourself or a following. Then after 30 years, you could go anywhere else, but why stay in the community? To your question and today's statement, I said to them, the community is us and we are the community. Why am I saying that? Because, as I just got through saying, we bring more of than just food.
Yeah.
We bring inspiration, and we want those that's in the neighborhood, the surrounding neighborhoods, and those also that migrate to our neighborhood to know that it's a group of people that's committed to shining as bright as they light could shine, but yet is capable of delivering on their promise, which is serving great food, being kind, having a good attitude, being courteous, and exemplifying those attributes in a way that those that come in, they would leave out with those same things.
Mm.
So it's not just for us to display to our customers, it's so that we could some way, somehow be a magnet that they would connect so well with it
Mm-hmm.
that they would take it away and exemplify it in their neighborhood if they're not from the neighborhood, in their homes, because they don't sleep there, and in their own environment that they personally control, but because they
Mm-hmm.
seen it. You see, a lot of us only could connect to things what did we see. So being that it was something visual that they could actually see, that then they could believe that it's possible. So the cultural aspect of Soul Veg City is that we make sure that we keep our promise of
Mm.
being that example in the community for other communities and those that come into the community, that look, it's possible for Black people to do business.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible for Black people to do well in business and succeed in the biggest of it all. It's possible for Black people to work together.
Yep. And you have really trained a lot of people have come in there and got a lot of good training from you. And I know because there's been a lot of young people that I've been impressed by behind the counter, because
Thank
his restaurant also, you guys, at 203 East 75th Street is also buffet style almost, whereas you're not selecting fixing your own plate. It's served more so like a smorgasbord. Um, so but you mentioned something about the community and how it brought about everything that was there, and you made sure you were bringing the same thing to the community to make sure you stayed the same and no changes. And that's how the South Side has shaped you, as well as you shaping the South Side, which is
Yes,
beautiful, a beautiful way to go about it, a beautiful way to put out there about how you want to make sure you stay the same, but also inspire.
yes.
um, yeah, that is awesome. Behind the menu, your menu. Let's talk about your menu real quick. Um, what are your signature dishes? The ones people travel like across the city for, and what items like would you say like they personally love the most, or do you love the most?
So we
No.
known all over literally the world, to be honest, because people actually fly into Chicago and come straight to Soul Veg City to before they make any other stops. So what people love in our signature dishes are, we have what we call our famous macaroni and cheese, which is a soy-based macaroni and cheese that we've been making for over 40 plus years, about 50 plus years we've been making the macaroni and cheese. And then we have something that's called kale greens. Everybody loves the kale greens and cornbread. That is literally the number one item of the business. And it was surprising to people because most restaurants and most African Americans know about collard greens. You see, that's what we do. I gotta just tell it. I'm just being honest. We
Yeah.
eat, we eat the collards. We didn't know nothing about the kale. So us on 75th Soul Veg City put, as I would say, put the kale on the map. And so
See,
and little did everybody know when we did it as well as us the serious nutritional value that they have. You know, it's the highest form of greens and nutrients that you can get from greens based on the chlorophyll level. So that's what kale does, as well as all the healing properties that it has, and what it does as far as the chlorophyll content. It goes to the blood and it helps with the blood and so forth and so on. That's why they talk about putting kale in your juices and putting kale in your smoothies and so forth and so on. Is based on that. So and then our third thing is our barbecue. We was able over the years to be
Yes.
able to come up with a meat substitute which the world called seitan, and that's a gluten product. Is made from the whole wheat flour, gluten flour, that we've been able to master over these years of working with it, where we mimic multiple textures that you've used to with eating meat. So whether it's barbecue, we have barbecue twists, whether it's gyro, where you have the gyro meat, whether it's the tidbits, which are called protein tidbits on my menu, that's kind of like chicken nuggets. So we've been able to mimic all of those different textures that you normally would have from eating different kinds of meats, where it's kind of chewy and pulley, and it gives you that nice chew that we all like, instead of just soft food that we put in our mouth. So
Hmm.
that's our barbecue. So we've been able to master that, and to topple that, we've created our own barbecue sauce too. So
It's
we
really
don't.
good.
So yeah, we don't do, and not that we have any problem with Sweet Baby Ray, but we make our own, and our own is in house, where we control everything that's in it, so that we can make sure
Hmm.
that you get the best of the best in products and the items in which we use to create the things that we create on a daily day basis. So
Hmm.
those are the staples, and then but since we're talking about menu, we've been able to cover it all. And that's where the name Soul Veg City came from, the word city. That's how it got thrown in with the Soul Veg name, the word city, because when you think about a city, anytime you say the word city, you think of it all, meaning that it's complete. So that's why you hear people that live in the suburbs say, I'm going to the city. You see, they don't say I'm going to Chicago. They say I'm going
Hmm.
to the city.
The city. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the whole idea of going to the city is that you can get everything there. You can do it all. You can have whatever kind of experience that you would like. So
Yes.
that's what happened, and that's how we added the word city, because we cover it all. We do salads and dressings. We have a salad bar there as well, where the salad bar, we have anywhere from 16 to 20 different salads literally every day. Then we do the hot bar, which we talked about a little bit earlier, which the hot bar has anywhere from 16 to 14 dishes every day,
Yeah, I'm
whether it's
sure
the
you
macaroni, the
did
cabbage, the candy yam, sweet potato, the okra and corn, the succotash, the peas, the eggplant
that.
parmesan, the lasagna. I can just go on and on and on, because
Yeah.
every day is basically a different menu.
It
And
was, I
then,
mean, the picture I'm showing right now with the sweet candy yams and
yeah,
like sweet chicken and fettuccine and
for
the
sure,
green and the
for
potato
sure.
salad.
You got it.
Uh, ooh, child.
I
Listen, that's
know.
a new baby. And and people, the thing is, when people go home, they get the plate. If they always douse their food with, you got some people douse their food with hot sauce and everything,
Yeah,
just covering up the whole taste. But
just cover the whole thing up.
here's a view of some of the plates that he have. It also has a breakfast. See with sausages and hash browns and your vegetable. I mean your salad displays. Uh, also, they have an ice cream that they make, vegan ice cream, plant based. It is absolutely to die for. Uh, I love the ice cream. I
as
really
well
love the
as
ice
well as the desserts, the cakes and the cobblers and the pies and the cookies. So I only say that just and answer finishing off that question, that we made sure that we covered all areas in culinary in the food lane. So that's why we named it Soul Veg City. But so that was a lot of the inspiration of the menu. It was my mom and dad understanding how to attract the customers. So that's how we started with the soul aspect. But then me and my sister, actually, I have a business partner, which is my sister. Her name is Lori CA, which since we've taken over about the last 17 years, that we knew that we had to make some adjustments. And that's how you see the business that you see now and the transition in which you see, because the Soul Veg City that exists today, 2025, it didn't exist before COVID. We took advantage of COVID and the world closing and shutting. That we made some changes, and it took 7 months to see what everybody experienced today. So, but that second generation, as you said earlier, about the business and understanding what's necessary as time develops and as time moves, that we knew we needed to make some adjustments, and that is what you see now.
Wow.
The next level of doing business and expanding the business.
Interesting. So I know there's been some challenges with what you're doing. It sounds like it's doubling up on me. Let me see something. Let me, let me see what I'm here. Let me. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Out of the blue, it just started echoing. It just started echoing out of the blue. I don't know what's going on. But let's go into, with the food and everything. I know you had challenges and triumph, trying to manage a plant-based restaurant, especially before food went mainstream. You know what I'm saying? And had to come with challenges. There were so many people. A lot of people were doing that with the, but there were a lot of people like, I don't like it taste because everything tasted like car food back then. I ain't gonna lie. A
Yeah,
lot of people had the same thing. I like that they like coffee. Give me my ribs. Give me my.
I get it. I get it.
I ain't gonna lie. But over time, it has developed and revolutionized into this outstanding high talent appeal. Really, people even know until they try it.
Yeah.
Until they try it, you know what I'm saying? So, with the challenges, what were some early hurdles and how did you push through them?
So some of the early hurdles, if I go all the way back, even though I was a kid then, but if I tell the story that my parents told, if we go all the way back, so the earlier challenge is, if you look at the time, we're talking about the 80s.
Yep.
Could you hear me clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're talking about the 80s. If you look at the 80s and go back 20 years, now we're talking about the 60s. The reason I tie the 60s in is because we just came and got allowed to eating real food in the 60s. Before then, we was eating the scraps still. And now, fast forward 20 years later, in the 80s, a man come and say, look, you can't eat that. That ain't no good for you. They thinking like, man, you crazy. We just now starting to eat the good stuff. we just now can go to the restaurants and eat the prime steak and the
At least
ribs.
get what you thought was the good stuff.
Yeah, you saying that we can't eat it? So to answer the question, the challenge was, now you're trying to convince people to eat some plants and some food that they don't know nothing about. So, so he used to give the food away.
Wow.
He literally used to give the food away to people. He used to have a certain time of day where people literally can come in and eat the food for free just so that they could get exposed to it, as you're saying.
Wow.
So that was a challenge. Why? Because a cost was still associated with it. It wasn't free.
Right.
Yeah, we can say it was for marketing purposes, but still it wasn't for free.
Mm-hmm.
So with doing that, he then had to take all the leftover food that people didn't want, and he had to figure out how and what to do with that because again, everybody didn't want it. So even when you're giving some stuff for free, some people don't want free.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some of the other challenges as we've developed, and me and my sister got in the business. So that was the early part. Then when we got involved, we realized and started to experience these challenges of our own. And some of those challenges were that people still didn't trust what the plant-based cuisine, diet, lifestyle, however we want to label it, really did for you. So we
Yep.
had to then, me and her had to adopt this culture of seriously educating ourselves so
Mm-hmm.
that as we talk to people and we talk about the business, we also have to talk about the benefits. You see, so that was a challenge because most businesses, you just talk about the business. Look, I got this good food. If you like it, I hope you do. Enjoy it. Bye. But it wasn't that for us. We got to tell them, okay, and Kel do this for you. And if you drink carrot juice, it's vitamin A. It's going to be good for your eyes. And if you drink this detox, which is orange, lemon, and grapefruit, it's citrus or it's vitamin C. So, you know, that was a challenge. The reason I'm pointing that out as a challenge because then it gave us something else to do outside of just running a business.
Mm-hmm.
It was a benefit, which we know now because it gave us more insight to our business and what we're offering people, yes. But initially, it veered us from the business a
Mm-hmm.
little. So that was one. And then another is when they made vegan trendy. It was good that they did. And I was happy because now the conversation is being had globally now. So it ain't just us pushing it, the small group or religious group
Right.
or the hippies in the world. Now it's a global conversation.
Right.
So but
Exactly.
what happened is now that things are global, you get in competition. So now we ain't the only show in
Nope.
town. So now we got all of these other businesses that's popping up and that they serving this fast food when
Yeah.
we serving soul food.
Soul food. Yeah, they are serving fast food, a lot of them. Yeah. A
Yeah,
lot of
so
frozen, vegan, processed
processed food.
food. Yeah.
So it made it a little bit complicated in the sense of we just had to pivot a little. But to that, it just inspired us and kept us creative and made us understand the business part of doing business more. And that's why, we still in business 40 plus years later,
Mm.
second generation.
Yep, I know and that's a beautiful thing, y'all, and that's awesome. The legacy that this business has
Yeah.
brought about. I know you got something you got to do. I'm gonna get you to the point of wanting to know the business and the growth and the vision behind Soul Veg City, and such a powerful legacy. What's next for the
Okay. So
brand?
that, I know you answered the secrets. That's why I had to smile like I did. but but what's next right now that I can speak on? We have a brand that we've created that those that's listening, those that come into the restaurant call Nurture. That's our brand that we've created. So right now we labeling all of our grab and go items under Nurture. So
Nurture.
Nurture, we looking to have that brand in multiple stores across whether it's the city or the country. So
Okay.
that's one of the things we looking to do as far as expand. Another one is we have a business called Vegan Now. We was downtown Chicago with Vegan Now at what's called the French Market for 4.5 years. And COVID kind of shut us down. Not kind of, COVID shut us down because we was in the West Loop. And if we know anything about COVID, that whole downtown shut down when COVID happened. So
You
it's
were in the West Loop by Randolph,
we
that
was back Canal,
street where
Canal,
the train
Canal,
station is.
Canal. Yes, Canal
Yeah,
right
okay,
across.
yeah. Randolph and Canal.
Yeah. So, long story short, so that's Vegan Now. So, Vegan Now, we've been able to successfully open it again after we closed, and we've been open on 1536 East 75th Street. So that's 75th and Stony Island, right across from Jules. It's called
Okay.
Vegan Now to Go. So we've been there for about 2 years. So that's next. That brand is a brand that we want to take nationwide. That model. We've created a model that's kind of convenient, I would say, where it's grab and go, where our tagline instead of fast food is real food fast.
Mm,
So it gives you the same sense of Soul Veg because we have a hot bar there, but it's a different menu. One of the difference on the menu, like at Soul Veg, we do smoothies. Up there at Vegan Now, we do milkshakes.
mm.
Soul Veg, we have a regular gyro. Up there, we have a chicken gyro. Up at Vegan Now, we do a smash burger. Down at Soul Vegetarian, we just do a long time, 30 plus year, 40 plus year Garvey burger, which is now called an extraordinary burger on the menu. So
Mm.
they have some similarities, but yet they kind of have their own identity.
Mhm.
But that is the brand that we're looking to take nationwide.
Wow. So for some who has never tried vegan food, I mean, like, like it's people watching from all over, right? And like, man, I want to be in Chicago. Like, oh, But for those who have never tried vegan food, let you guys know. I'm not talking about this vegan food that processed crap that you see in the stores, in the freezer department, and everything else. I'm talking about actually handmade, fresh made, natural plant-based food. I like saying plant-based because it gives you a different scent. But anyway, for those who never tried vegan food or is nervous about it, what would you say to them? Why should they give Soul Veg City a chance, or just give vegan if they're not in the city, give vegan or plant-based food a chance? Period.
One of the things that we've been able to say over the years is we all agree that vegetables have some type of benefit health wise to us. We all agree with that. Everybody. Whether
Mhm.
you eat steak or not, you want some asparagus or some green beans. It don't matter. Whether you eating chicken, you probably want some broccoli. It don't matter. You want some corn, meaning you all of us believe whether you want some onions, meaning something that comes from the earth. So ours, what we ask people to do is just add. We're not asking you to get rid of anything.
Right.
We're asking you to add to because we realize with adding that some things are going to automatically fall off because it's not going to have the space. So just think about this. If you're normally eating 2 and 3 pieces of meat or starches on your plate, just add a vegetable. That's all we saying. We ain't saying get rid of the chicken. We ain't saying get rid of whatever you like, whether it's a hamburger. whether it's a sausage. We ain't saying none of that. We saying just add some greens to it. We saying add some broccoli. Because once you do that, you wind up realizing you don't have space for it all. And because you've created now the palate for this new way of eating by adding these things to your diet and to your plate, it's an automatic change. So I would say, so I tell people to do that. And what the last thing I would leave people with is you owe it to yourself to take a chance with something that's documented to be of benefit to your health. You owe that to yourself.
I agree.
So when you thinking about plant-based or vegan, your body needs that.
Yes.
So don't think about you doing it for me. Don't think about you doing it because it's popular. Think about you doing it because you deserve to expose yourself to another way of eating that actually benefits your life and your lifestyle as well as your health.
Well, everybody, I will say this. This has been an incredible conversation. Soul Veg City is more than a restaurant, it's a movement, it's heritage, and it's healing. Arel, I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, your passion, and the mission, and the iconic Chicago staple, baby. To everyone watching, make sure you support Soul Veg City. They're located at 203 East 75th Street. Go go and enjoy some plant-based goodness and show them some love. You know what I'm saying? And taste the legacy for yourself. I can only tell you how good it is to me. I go there quite a bit. You got to go try it yourself. And you know what? I want to thank everybody for tuning in to In My Tonight. And have a subscribe. What you waiting on? Okay. And subscribe, like, share, comment, and hit that bell icon. You can get notified for every time I go live. Arel, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Bless you. I'll see you tomorrow because I gotta come get lunch. But we're doing a lot of work over here, but I'm doing a big Thanksgiving dinner here. Original Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes.
So I said, it ain't gonna kill me.
We meet everybody where they are.
I'm at 203 East 75th Street.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
They eat, but they can come to the house. God bless you, Arel.
God
Thank you
bless
so
you
much, and have a great rest of your evening.
You do the same. Thank you very much. It was an honor.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Everybody, it has been Aunt Teresa, the food is really good, isn't it? The food is very good. Yeah. They've been around 44 years. Y'all heard it for yourself. 44 years. That's a long time to be a staple in a community. Hold on. A long time to be a staple in the community with a food that is not recognized by all palates. You know what I'm saying? That is, it was a minimal palate base for their food. Minimal. And when I say minimal, it wasn't a lot of people going there at all. It was a natural place. You could walk in. His dad I've met before. You could walk in that place and feel comfortable. They would let you try the food, let you sample it, before it. But over time, palates have changed, seasonings and introductions to foods have changed, and people are bringing out a lot more. Like he said, it's the herbs and seasonings that makes the food what it is, because it is plant-based. And when you say plant-based means you're eating a lot more vegetables or fruits, however you look at it, fruits and vegetables. Gorillas and them, that's all they eat. And they some, silverback gorillas, that's all they eat. And they just one of the strongest animals on the planet. I mean, and people think, oh, you got to eat all that protein. Yeah, the body needs protein. Don't get it twisted. But it doesn't always need that meat, that animal protein. There is protein in other forms. And I know because I still continue on. Sometimes all I eat is some, I'm just saying, sometimes all I eat is the little beans. I have beans, salad. I sit up in the morning. I'll go fruit crazy in the mornings. That's my energy. And then at night, I like a salad, some smothered cabbage or something like that. Like I'm finna go up here now. I got some vegetable, vegan, dumplings. The Asian dumplings. They vegetable and they're vegan. And I'm finna go up here now and steam those. That's what I'm having. Boom. That's my dinner. And I'm gonna have some pomegranate juice after the fact, because that's another thing. I don't eat and drink at the same time. I don't eat and drink at the same time. Don't do it. Yeah, don't eat and drink at the same time. And it's not healthy to eat and drink at the same time. All you guys got to do is Google this stuff, and you don't have to take my word for it for nothing. Google it. That's all I'm gonna say. Google it, because you don't have to take my word for it for nothing. Because people always have a challenge of trying to trust people, and that's what she say, but yeah, da. But I'm gonna tell you like this: don't worry about it. Google it. When you drink and eat at the same time, it causes a lot of gas. Your digestion is messed up. Sometimes people have acid reflux. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on there. Either you drink an hour before you eat, or drink half an hour after you eat. Let that food go down first, and then you take maybe a sip of water just to push the rest of it down, and give your body a minute, let it process, and then you have you a glass of water or a glass of juice or a coffee or a tea or whatever it is that you prefer. I don't do dairy. I don't drink milk. I've been away from milk for a lot of years. I probably would get sick if somebody gave me a glass of milk. I'm just saying. I don't drink milk. I don't do dairy. It's a lot of pus. We got enough going on in the air that we breathe. I don't need no help with respiratory systems and situations. I don't need all that, because the air we breathe is toxic as all get out. And then you drinking pus, all that pus and that milk and all that stuff. And they tell you themselves it's pus in the milk. American diabetes, American cow and farmers, they tell you it's pus in the milk. That's not really for humans. It's for the calves. And they don't come and suck on your nipples. Why we drinking the milk that come out of their nipples? They tell you that. There's no other mammal on the planet that drink another mammal's milk but us, unless it's like a mammal that's deserted, like an animal that might be deserted, and another type of mammal might come and find it and help it out, and it'll let it suck on its nipples or something and give it milk to nourish it a little bit until it gets a little bigger. But I'm telling y'all, your health is your wealth. There is nothing better than having good health. Baby, you can do anything when you're in good health. But when you ain't in good health, you ain't gonna be wealthy because you unhealthy. So you ain't gonna be wealthy because you unhealthy. And you could be very rich and then have a demise of health befall you. You know what I'm saying? And now you're spending all that money trying to keep your health up. Or either you're gonna do what's best. You're gonna find out what's wrong, go get the test and all that. And you're going to change your diet. You're going to research the best natural ways of healing. Yeah. Because, hey, a lot of times, medicine is not certain. Medicine is a practice. Doctors are always practicing. There is not a permanent cure of nothing that medicine has done. Nothing. So, you know what I'm saying? Nothing is a permanent cure that medicine has went behind to try to just, clean up. It put a Band-Aid on it. It'll be all right. Well, it might come back 10 years later, one of them type of things, but nothing. So I say, people, make sure you take time to dig into your health. Go to the doctor, get your test ran, change your diet. Let me tell you something. They are already telling us on the news. And you ain't never heard them talk about nothing natural that you ain't had to go to the big pharma for on the news. They start to tell you now on the news. Okay. But wait, They started to make turmeric stuff and on the news. They tell you on the news that turmeric is good for inflammation. They started to release the real truth. But Big Pharma got their hands tied. You know what I'm saying? Media and all that. You know, Aunt Teresa said, when I live in Chicago, I eat all the time. I eat coleslaw every day, pinto beans with curry rice, full of protein. Yep, yep. Papaya is an amazing food. Very true about drinking and eating the same time. Yeah, it is. Papaya is good for digestion, to get your food digested in your body. Papaya is good if you have a good fresh papaya bowl of fruit, cut up fruit, cube fruit, about 30 minutes after you've eaten dinner. That'll be your late night, or either a kiwi. Kiwi's good for late night eating too, or after dinner eating kiwi, because it calms you and it helps with the rest and sleep and all of that. But people, think about your health. Think about your health, and go ahead on and check with if you in Chicago, check with Soul Veg City. They're located at 203 East 75th Street. That's the corner of 75th and Indiana. Can't miss it. And tell them Neela sent you. Everybody, it's been a blast. Listen, everybody, I want you all to blow out. Take a deep breath in and hold it. Exhale. You know, we go through prayer. To God be the glory. Lord, thank you for another brand new day. Hallelujah. Thank you for keeping us all throughout this day and bringing us together on these platforms with all this beautiful information going on. The sharing of the culture and the community that this restaurant has brought about in Chicago. We are just grateful for the owner and the second generation owners. And on top of that, which are the children of the original owners. And it's a story behind that, and it's a legacy that they've built there. And we're just grateful for them, Lord. We're just grateful for life right now, that we're breathing and we're alive and we're all able to be here together and joined on these platforms. Thank you for the minds that you've touched that built these platforms, and the hands and all that built them, Lord. We're just thankful for another glorious and brand new day. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Lord, give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all that is evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. To God be the glory. Amen, amen, amen. Everybody go in peace today. Make somebody's day. Make your day. Because before you can make somebody's day, you got to make your own day. You got to do you so you can do others. Okay? But don't be selfish. Go ahead on and do you, and go ahead and do others. Okay? To God be the glory. Everybody, I'll see you guys on Monday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, right here on What In My Element with Neela, live Monday mornings and Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Central. So see you guys Monday at 8. In the meantime, and in between time, enjoy the rest of this week and in your weekend. We all know that Thanksgiving is coming up next week. So Monday, we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving. Okay. And Wednesday night, we're going to have another guest on the show. I'll see you guys then. Peace on earth to everybody. Everybody go in peace. Go in your own peace. See you guys. Bye-bye.